To be here together. Hine matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This chapel is holding a lot right now. Too much, to be honest. For our people, this week was heart-wrenching. We are at a loss for words over the murder of Oded Lifshitz, Ariel and Kfir Bibas, and we await news from Israeli officials about the remains released today, believed to be Shiri Bibas. We come here tonight, many of us, for a Shabbat of mourning, a Shabbat of allowing sadness and immense grief, a Shabbat of just being in a community that gets it. And we hold also, because we're Jews and we can hold a lot, we also entered these doors for Repro Shabbat. In partnership with National Council of Jewish Women, we honor this Shabbat each year as it lands on Parshat Mishpatim, which includes the text that grounds the many different ways Judaism views reproductive justice. We will get to that later in the service, I promise. This year, our newly formed Repro Justice team, and if you are interested in joining that, there's a hot pink sign-up outside, I was told. It's on a hot pink piece of paper. Thank you, Laura Loeb. This year, our newly formed Repro Justice team decided to focus this moment on menstrual justice as part of reproductive justice, ensuring that girls, women, and female-identified folk in our city can go to work, go to school, do what they need to do, no matter their menstrual cycle. In that vein, we have asked people to come and donate and bring this evening packages of pads and incontinence items that we will be bringing to N Street Village. There was a thing out in front that you could put that into. N Street Village is a DC women's shelter. Thank you to those who did that. And if you didn't, CVS is right up the street. What a pleasure. I think it's a good thing to do on Shabbat. Repro Shabbat is about championing reproductive justice in the many ways it shows up in women's and all people's health and lives. It can also be a celebration of the things bodies can do, a celebration of the female body, a celebration of women. In that light, our Shabbat service this evening will have a few extra readings to ground us on this day. It will still be Shabbat. We're going to do Kabbalat Shabbat and pray. We will join together in a text study, not a sermon. Don't look so happy. So that we can really hear from one another and be in community in this moment. And we will also, while reproductive justice does not only affect women, it does affect women a lot. And so we will celebrate Jewish women composers by solely using their creations throughout the service. This may mean that your favorite Micha Mocha is not going to be prayed this evening.
You'll be okay.
It's going to be okay.
You'll be
It's going to be okay. You're going to come along for the ride, and if you hear some melodies that are new to you, you're going to let that wash over you, or you're going to join us when you feel comfortable. It's know that we are honoring some composers that maybe we don't hear from as often. One more time, if we don't know each other yet, I'm Rabbi Eliana Fischel, joined in joy with Rabbi Rachel Schmelkin, and we are joined by all of you. As I started saying in this...
And our quartet.
And our quartet, thank you so much.
Made up of Rachel, I'm going to try and say the names, Rachel Barham. Cool, I got a thumbs up. Mary Ellen Kane, Kyle Burke, and James Rogers, and our beautiful pianist, David Lang, as well.
Thank you so much for lifting up your voices and pianist abilities in our worship this morning. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are each bringing a lot to this room. This week was a lot. And so I would love for you to turn to someone near you, ideally maybe someone you don't know, share your name, and share like one word that you're bringing into this room tonight. Like, where are you? One word that sort of comes to you in this moment. Go for it.
I'm back. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together
As I mentioned, we'll have a few extra or different readings this evening. The first is going to be found in your colorful handout. We have a few handouts today. And I'm going to ask Geir Tershin, one of our co-chairs of our Repro Justice team, to come on up. And we're going to join together in a prayer for reproductive freedom.
Which one?
Right here. No. And as she gets to that page, we felt like this moment called for sort of a refrain, if you will, of music that we are hopefully will get into our brains and into our souls and into our hearts this evening. And so after each of these, after a reading throughout the service, we're going to join together in a prayer by Batya Levine called We Rise. Not the whole thing, just snippets of it throughout the service, as a way to sort of bring us into a moment of championing causes that we care about, of feeling like we need a little bit more strength, of feeling like we need a little bit more support. And so Geir will lead us in this prayer. We'll join in We Rise, and we'll continue with Kabbalat Shabbat.
May we always remember that each person is created in the image of the sacred, endowed with the inherent right to autonomy and respect. May we create a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. May we understand our obligations to one another. We are all inherently holy and should be treated as such. May we find within ourselves the collective will to create a just society in which reproductive justice, the holy right to own the personhood of one's own body, to have or not have children, to raise any children in safety and community, is foundational. May we endow each other with the strength, resolve, and courage we need as we walk together toward a liberatory world. May we always follow the leadership of those most impacted by the harms of reproductive oppression. May we listen and learn. May our country become a place of true liberty and justice for all. May our relationships with each other be ones of care and deep respect. May we walk together on the path of community as we work together to ensure truly accessible abortion care for all. Amen.
We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.
We continue with Kabbalat Shabbat. We're going to continue actually on page 11 with Do Di Li, this song of Shabbat about the love that Shabbat has with us, with the Israel people, and the love that we have of the support that Shabbat gives us each and every day. Do Di Li.
And there are a few words in the version of this song that the quartet and I are going to be singing tonight that are not on the prayer book, but they're just ani la do di v'do di li, and so you'll hear it happen over and over again. So don't freak out when you hear something that's not on the page. I'm warning you now that it's not on the page, and you'll have many, many things that are on the page you can sing with us. Do di li v'ani lo haroeh, haroeh. Miso dolo min hamid bar, mekut
We continue on page 13. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Sing a song unto God. Sing a new song unto God. We're in the middle of page 19. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. We turn the page for Lecha Dodi, another love song between Shabbat and us, Shabbat and the people of Israel. And where we will do this love song, we'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, we will rise and face the door and welcome Shabbat physically with our bodies. At some point, someone will walk in during that moment, and we'll greet them with warm and wonderful smiles as well. And they will also feel the warmth of Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi.
We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship. Following Barhu, our tradition always has a blessing for creation. That's usually about the natural world. It's usually about evenings or daytimes or things like that. But for this Shabbat, I wanted to actually bring us to a blessing of creation that we do in the morning. You can find it on page 77, or the version we do on page 77. It's called a Sher Yatzar, and it's a blessing for our bodies. It's actually known, excuse this, but it's actually known as the bathroom blessing. So it is really a blessing that says, like, thanks God for making it all work. And, which is funny. And also, it's part of our morning liturgy, because those moments when we wake up and feel our bodies, and God willing, they're all working, or maybe they're not working so well, and even still, we need a little bit of gratitude that the parts that are working, even if it's creaky. And so on this Repro Shabbat, it's also a celebration of bodies and what bodies can do. And so we join together on the top of page 77. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware we would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh kol basar umafli la'asot. We're on our handout.
We rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us rise.
We turn back to our evening liturgy on page 32. Ahavat Olam, God's everlasting love upon us.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Adonai Elohecha.
Page 36.
Bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. V'hayu hadevarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leod al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiod lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
We turn to page 40 for our people's prayer of freedom. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God? Often when we have a certain lens that we're looking at our liturgy through, it opens up different ideas of not just who we are and how we come to our tradition, but perhaps also who God is. And so if you turn to your white handout on the back, we have a different version of Hashkivenu, in which God is envisioned as a mother bird. Might be a little weird for us. It's okay, roll with it. But really, Hashkivenu is one of these prayers that offers protection and shelter, and often it does sort of feel like a warm embrace, and perhaps even like a mother's embrace. And in this week of hardship, this felt like a beautiful version of our prayer for shelter and protection. You can join me if you'd like. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Dear eternal source of life, our mother dear, leader in our lives, bring us, your children, into your nest of peace. V'taknenu beitza tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu lema'an shemecha. Sing to us, cause us to dance to your words of unity amidst all the divisions we have experienced in our lives. Let your rhapsody become our song of hope, witnessing to the universality of your name. V'chagvein ba'adenu, v'haser milenu oyev, dever, v'cherev, v'ra'av, uvgayon, v'harchik mimenu avon v'fesha, uvseil kenefecha tasrinu. Let us feel the comfort of your wings. Let them remind us that all our trials our fears, our worries, our concerns dissolve in your presence because we are all a part of something greater than ourselves, you. Ki el shomreinu umatzilenu ata, ki el chanun v'rachum ata. For you have watched us grow throughout all generations. You have liberated us from any tyranny that has arisen and shown us an abounding love despite our many shortcomings. Ushmor tzeitenu uvo'enu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Protect us as we leave you and return to you, looking to you as life and peace forevermore. Nevarech et ein chaim he ha'olamim, hapore sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Let us bless that source of life, the exuberant life held within every sphere of being that is waiting to be experienced, calling us to our unanswered questions and to a universal harmony called Zion.
We rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise fighting for life,
We continue a celebration of Shabbat on page 44, V'shamru.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We turn to page 46 and rise for our Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fiyagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avod B'imahot, U'mei Gula Livnei B'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai. Mechaye HaKol Ata Rab Lehoshia. Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed. Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabbi. Somech Noflim Berofech Olim. Umatir Asurim. Umekayem Emunato. Lishene Afar. Michamocha Bal Gevurot. Umido Melach. Melech Meimit Umechayeh. Umatmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai. Mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh. Ukadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai. Ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. On page 58, you'll find our prayer of gratitude, our prayer of thanksgiving, which here at Washington Hebrew, we take an opportunity to share in our community simchas that have happened in our life recently or will happen soon. And my God, do we need some simchas this week? So if you have had a joy, if you've had something wonderful happen to you recently, birthday, anniversary, really good plate of French fries, whatever it is that you might be celebrating, we would love to hear it. And when we hear it as a community, we're going to respond with Modim Anachnu Lach, those words on that page 58. And because when one of us has a joy, all of us can experience that joy. That is a blessing of community. So who has a simcha to share? Elliot.
Good friend of mine had a tumor extracted from brain and was home in 2 days.
Oh my God.
Wow.
My goodness. A good friend of his had a tumor extracted from his brain and was home in 2 days. So for good health and for unbelievable science, we say, Modim Anachnu Lach. Yes, Dan Kaplan, all the way in the back.
My son was 9. People chose him as a rising Jewish basketball professional by the Jewish Coaches Alliance.
Amazing, amazing. Son being named one of the rising Jewish coaches. Professionals, thank you. But just like having so much pride for our kids, we can say, Modim Anachnu Lach. Anastasia, I saw your hand. They each had a Quaker testimony in them? Cool. For creativity in theater, we say, Modim Anachnu Lach. Yes, Madison?
In this moment, my grandmother, most people were here, she's recovering, and she's actually watching the live stream right now.
Amazing, amazing. We can all say hello.
Hello.
And we are so glad that your grandmother is recovering well. Thank God also for health and for amazing science. We say, Modim Anachnu Lach. Lena, I was wondering. Only if you want to, but you raised your hand. Today was the day of Lena's conversion, and so I know. She thinks that it is her simcha, but actually it is our simcha that we get you in the Jewish people. And so for amazing, amazing people who are choosing our Jewish faith and our Jewish community and our Jewish peoplehood, we say, Modim Anachnu Lach. I'm going to take, Harriet. Thank God. Well, I know what? It's a joy to both have him here and to embarrass him. So thank God. For family, we say, Modim Anachnu Lach. I'm actually going to do one. There's a lot of new faces here, and that is such a blessing for us. So if you are new, can you just raise your hand so we know to say hi to you at Oneg? Look at all these wonderful new people that are joining us the first time at Washington Hebrew. So welcome. Welcome, welcome. Everyone who's not new, you just saw who you're saying hi to at Oneg. And your presence, we are so grateful for your presence. Modim Anachnu Lach. Jeannie, you're going to be our last one.
We want to thank Church
Yeah, I heard it was amazing. Beautiful. Grateful for Joan Churchill every single day, and particularly for bringing Jamie Raskin to a program this past week. We say, Modim, Anach, Nulach. Carl, I have to let you go.
My was accompanying my wife. We've been married for 31 years, and my great joy is sharing it with the two of you.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say, but thank you so much.
Reaffirming my own commitment to the Jewish people and being part of this beautiful community that Washington has created. But for Washington, we would not have done this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait,
Those
I
who-
have one too.
For those who missed it, Carl reaffirmed his faith today as well, alongside Lena. My God, are we grateful for this community? Modim, Anach, Nulach. All right, close us out, Rabbi.
All right, my dad and Christina are here, which is very fun, from Cincinnati. My husband Jeff is here, which is, we have 2 little kids, so that is special. But more special is that he has his 2 friends, Sam and Joe, here. That he has been close friends with them since Heller High EIE in high school, when he went. That's a semester abroad in Israel, and so it's been like 20 years.
Which is still happening if anyone wants to talk about it.
Yes. Anyway.
For all of these blessings at the bottom of page 58. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. We also know that while so many of us come here in joy and in simcha this evening, that many of us also come here either with our own physical ailments or mental or spiritual ailments, or thinking of those who are in need of healing. And so if you are thinking of someone this evening, I'm going to ask that you share their name out loud as my eyes meet yours.
Rick Gruna. Used to be one of the key Tim Doyle, Sid Finley, Max Costello.
To those names, we add Howard Clow, Jim Kirk, Claire Planton, Betty April, and Sherry Burrs. You can find Misha Barach on page 253. In this moment after our prayer for healing and on Repro Shabbat, it felt only appropriate to offer a prayer for our healthcare workers who work so diligently to make sure that our bodies are safe and healthy. And so I invite up Adina Collins, our other co-chair of our Repro Justice team, to share in this blessing. You don't have it, all those handouts, and it's not there. So you're just going to have to listen to Adina's wonderful voice.
Ribono Shel Olam, ruler of the universe, who planted the tree of knowledge in the garden to know between good and evil, who granted human beings free choice. Be with me in this time. Holder, guard, keep us safe. Ribono Shel Olam, Rachel is weeping for her children. She pours out her grief. I am awash in her tears. Lift up the neshamot, the souls of our fallen. Comfort their families. Memory eternal. Remember us. Ribono Shel Olam, who knows of birth and death and the life that exists between. Bless our healers. Bless our health. Bless our hands as we work to heal this brokenness. Bless our treatments as they bring Chaim Tovim, good life, on us all. Shield our caregivers from harm, for our rabbis teach us that one on their way to perform one of your holy commandments is themselves shielded from harm. Healer, soother, treat us. Ribono Shel Olam, our well, our source, who brings renewal and sustenance, you are the deep well I draw from. The well where Rebekah stood, the waters that Miriam caused to pour forth, the waters of the Nile that Yocheved trusted. Ribono Shel Olam, bless these sacred spaces of decision.
Amen. Thank you.
We turn our thoughts and our hearts now towards Israel. And as Rabbi Fischel mentioned at the beginning of services, this has been, it's been a terrible week. It's been a terrible, terrible week. And there really are no words for the kinds of horrors we've seen when precious little ones are taken from us in the way that they were taken. There just are no words. And there are no words to describe the feeling that we might have when we see something so horrible happen, and then we wonder, how will we ever achieve peace when something like this happens? How will Israelis and Palestinians ever be able to heal and move forward and live together? And the real answer is, I don't know. I don't think any of us know. But I refuse to give up hope. And even if we don't have the words, we have prayer, and we have each other, and we have centuries and thousands of years of Jews crying out for comfort. And so one of the texts that we sing for this is Nachamu, Nachamu. We ask God for comfort, and so as our prayer for Israel tonight, we sing these words, and you can find the words on your handout, and I hope you'll join me. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle in this world.
we take some time now for our own private prayer, whatever it is we have to say to God this evening, after this week, whatever it is we're feeling in this moment, we take our own time for ourselves, for a discussion with God, for whatever it is you might need. As I mentioned, Repro Shabbat is not just like a random Friday or Saturday on the American calendar. It actually correlates to the Parsha that we are reading this week, Parshat Mishpatim, that has the text that bases Judaism's belief about, and multiple beliefs, right? 2 Jews, 3 opinions, multiple beliefs about reproductive justice today. And so instead of sharing what I believe or what or I don't know what Reform Judaism believes, we really want to take an opportunity to dive into that text, right? If there's a reason we're doing this Shabbat on this text, then you all should engage with the text, says your rabbi. So, so what we're going to do, I'll give you a little context, but I really don't want to give you much context. And you're going to have a little bit of time in what's called Havruta, which means in time to study with the person next to you. So if you're in our colorful pamphlet here, Parshat Mishpatim comes after we receive the 10 Commandments. And then after you receive the 10 Commandments, like I feel like the Israelites thought they were done. And then they get so many more commandments. They get 603 more commandments after the 10 Commandments. So now we're in these Torah portions where it's just like commandment after commandment after commandment. But it's really about how is it that we are going to live together, right? It starts to become, it is about religion because everything is about faith and belief in that time. But it's also about like, how do you and I interact with one another? And that's where this law comes in. So I'm just going to read it. You'll see that there's a blue square. Does everyone see the blue square Great. I'm going to read it, and then I'll tell you what to do. So this is from Exodus 21. When men fight, and one of them pushes a pregnant woman, I realize the irony of the situation, just for the record. And one of them pushes a pregnant woman, and a miscarriage results, God forbid, but no other damage ensues. The one responsible shall be fined according as the woman's husband may exact from him, the payment to be based on reckoning. But if other damage ensues, the penalty shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. On the facing page, thank God for National Council of Jewish Women, they have questions for discussion. So what I would love for you to do, turn to someone near you, or if you perhaps sat next to the person that you know very well, maybe turn to someone you don't know. One of the blessings of Washington Hebrew is we have a really diverse community, and I imagine a number of diverse opinions about this text. And it might be really interesting and really lovely to have a respectful text-based conversation with someone you might not know. So we're going to give you a few minutes, probably not enough time, to discuss these questions with the person next to you, and then we're going to come together. Go for it. So you have 2 more minutes, but like an actual 2 minutes. All right, take 30 more seconds to wrap up your conversations if they're not wrapped up already. All right, let's come back together. Let's come back together.
You can do it.
So what is, just to make sure that we understand what the text is saying, and then I want to get into like some of the ways in which you're interpreting this. What is the distinction between the two kinds of punishments that are being enacted here? What's the distinction between them? Steve Lamb, thank you. Okay, so one is okay to handle monetarily, and the other is not. And what are the two differences in the act? Which one is monetary? The miscarriage. And then what is the other damage that they're talking about? The woman's body, right? So if something happens to the fetus, money is fine to exchange, right? And as a form of punishment. If something were to happen to the woman's body, then that's eye for eye, tooth for tooth, things like that. Yeah, did everyone, we got there? Beautiful. So we'd love to know, so just so you know, that term, this distinction, this text, really creates a range of opinion in the Jewish world about this topic, right? Because it's clear, without a doubt, I want to be clear, it's clear that a woman's life is more important. That's what we get from this text. And how that importance is defined changes depending on the Jew, right? So it could be that it's a situation in which, well, is this woman's life imminently in danger? And that is a situation in which you can do what you need to do in order to save the woman's life, right? That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is if a woman's life is in danger because she could not financially care for a child, then it's okay to do what you need to do, right? That's a really wide range of reproductive justice in Judaism, and Judaism as a whole incorporates all of it. So with all of that, what are some of the things that you in your partnerships, like what were some interesting facts or interesting opinions or interesting things that came up in your discussion? You've never been shy. Elliot.
Madison had an observation that she wondered what the punishment would be if it resulted in
So Madison wondered if it didn't result in a miscarriage, but it resulted in brain damage of the fetus. Right, so it would be the same idea that it would be a monetary compensation there, exactly. Other questions or opinions that came up? Yeah.
Four distinctions we made was that, and you mentioned before, that the Ten Commandments have just been given down. And so we really weren't even Jews as a people yet, we were still Hebrews. And so once the Ten Commandments were given, it was still like, okay, we're all these things you have to do to be a society. And now we've jumped into, we have a court system with tort law, right? And so it's a very high ask of what we can do.
Yeah.
But it means that we have to have a community in which to either one, bring up a child, right? Or to care for someone who's lost a child. And that's a high level, I would say, we emphasize that.
Nice.
The rest of the Torah then goes into how that's capable.
Nice.
602 more laws.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. What amazing. So if you didn't hear him, what he said, did I interrupt you? Were you good? Okay. Was that we just went from getting the Ten Commandments, which is really like our base law, right? Like telling us not to murder. I don't think anyone here has to be told not to murder, right? Like we know that one. But now suddenly we are starting to become a people. We're starting to become a community. And so we're getting like into the depths of law on how to engage with one another. And so actually this law only works, as you said, if there's a community ready to care for a pregnant woman, if there's a community ready to care for a child, right, and to support that family. And unsure if that's where we're at in the desert, unsure if that's where we're at today, but it seems to be inherent in this law that like there is a support to make this happen. Yeah, Anna.
Just a thought that there's nothing in here about the mother's desire to deliver this
Yep.
child, like whether she wanted this child or not.
Correct.
And what it meant to her in terms of whether it's a life or not.
Yeah, that the mother's ideas are not present here, right? For those, this might be heretical for some of you, just putting it out there. The Torah, some believe it was written by God. Others might believe that it was written by men and commented on by men. And so perhaps, of course, they're not going to talk about what the mother is thinking, right? And what the mother is feeling, because that they don't know, right? And so that's not considered here. And again, there's a range in Judaism of whether or not that is considered or not, right? Is that, like, for mental health issues, is that a life or death situation, right, for the mother, or is it not? Yeah. Carl.
So we had a question in our group, which was that this clearly the woman's life and body is based on the unborn baby. What would happen if the woman who brought about the miscarriage had tried to abort the fetus? What would be the punishment there? Because we're trying to figure out
If she did it herself.
if she did it herself.
I think it's a good question, right? So I think that there's a Jewish law answer, and then there's like mental health humanity answer, and those are probably going to differ, right? Yeah, the question is, what if the woman caused the miscarriage herself? What if it was intentional that the woman did that? And so I think there's a range, right? I really don't want to answer for like Jews, bichlal, right? In which there could be a range of, we really care about pikuach nefesh, about saving lives, right? And so it's dependent on whether or not that's a life, or is it not a life, or what is it? And then we get into a whole world of that, right?
And there are worlds of commentary on that.
And there's lots of commentary on that, yes, that I can point you to. And when that happens, which actually for most Jews, or at least in the Talmud, the baby is not a life until it comes out, until it takes a first breath, which is quite late. Like, that's wild, right? That's, again, not all Jews go by that, but Talmudically, that's what it says. And so I would imagine that the same would be true, but I also just want to put in there a woman who's doing that, like, she's going to need support, right? And there needs to be some mental health stuff with her, and to make sure that she is okay. And so wanted to make sure that that was clear. So Joanne, and then I'm going to wrap up. I know this is like a quick text study. Yeah.
I know this is just maybe irrelevant, but what do the Orthodox, how do the Orthodox look at?
So that was the range I gave before. Again, I can't even speak for all Reform Jews, let alone all Orthodox Jews. So I will share that there are, at National Council of Jewish Women, they have a rabbis board. And there are rabbis on that board from every denomination of Judaism, including Orthodoxy. And there is many statements put out by, like, Orthodox Union that again says we value a life, we want to save a life at any point, and clearly they're saying that it is a life, but also that the woman's life always takes precedence. But that means imminent danger, right? So that's sort of the range. That's kind of the range. I know there are other comments. That's why we have Oneg. Thank God for it. What really, we could look at, we look at this text each year, not like this. Sometimes I give a sermon, or we have a speaker, or something like that, or you give a sermon, who knows. But in this moment, the part that really stood out to me, actually, was the end, where it says, if other damage were to ensue, then it's eye for eye, bruise for bruise, and it keeps going. Like, it's a real long list of damages that could happen to a body. And considering the week we've had, the year and a half that we've had, and the ways in which, in this reproductive justice conversation as well, humanity is often put on the side for other things, for other forms of power, for other things that seem more worth it. I think one of the reasons why this week was so difficult was just like the sheer lack of humanity that was present all over media and all over everything else, and a sheer lack of humanity often when this topic is being discussed. And the idea that at the end of this, for this law, you actually have to look at someone and say, I see you, and I see your damage, right? I see you, and I see all the ways in which you are human, and you have faults, and you are perfectly imperfect, and all of those moments, to me, feels completely whole. And to me, that is like the most Jewish aspect of this text, is being able to look at someone and say, oh my goodness, I have damaged you, or you have been damaged, and I'm going to sit here and take it and give you your place in a holistic way, because your humanity, no matter how it presents itself, is holy.
So we're going to turn back to We Rise. We're going to sing it all the way through. And, you know, for me, I think the two songs that have been playing through my head this week have been this song and Nachamu, right? So it's like wavering back and forth between give me comfort, and rise up, because we're going to be okay, and we can do this. We can do this. And so let's sing this together and give ourselves some strength. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with Spirit to guide us, rise.
For Elena, we turn to page 282 and rise for Elena. You may be seated. We've come now to the moment in our service of memory where we think of those who we have loved and lost. Today, Washington Hebrew honors the yahrzeit of Jeffrey A. Abel Sr., Lorraine Hager Alper, Stephen C. Ammerman, Mildred April, Teresa Augustine, Maurice Baer, Eleanor B. Barron, Bruce Edward Basson, Rudolph B. Barrand, Sophia Berman, Chaim Eben Bassett, Joseph Sommers Benheim, Laura Blue Weiss, Henrietta Block, Harold J. Bobbis, Leon Bondarath, Jerome Brand, Lawrence Nelson Brandt, Janet Pearlstein Cohn, Samuel J. Decker, Michael J. Douch, Jules Dubit, Elaine Lestine Dworkin, Moses Edlovich, Rudolph Ehrlich, Natalie I. Eisner, Bertie Erlbacher Frank, Ida Friedberger, Morris Goldfein, Goldie Goldstein Gould, Carrie Guggenheim, Harry I. Haas, William Harris, Molly Hershowitz, Sarah Hirsch, Molly Orisman Hoff, Edward Hollander, Milton Eisen, Charles Jasper, Beth R. Kahn, Henry Katzman, Estelle S. Kaufman, Joseph A. Kaufman, Mildred B. Corman, Abraham Korzik, Esther Lerner, Nathan Lesney, Eileen Silver Levine, Harold A. Levine, Carrie Livingston, Ray Hirsch Lowenberg, Benjamin Alpert Modianot, Marvin Munchik, Alvin Emil Newman, Mary B. Newmeyer, Julius H. Orleans, Catherine R. Perlsman, Stella Pinkwasser, Gerald G. Portney, Augusta Perlson, Sheila Riven Chapman, Shirley Robinson, Louis W. Rossheim, Sadie B. Rudolph, Rose Sachs, Rachel Salmanowitz, Leah Shenik, Milfred Schiller, Charles Schwartz, Marlene Schumann, Malcolm Slatko, Simon Serentru Jr., George Stein, Julius Stein, Sadia Joy Steinbeck, Ronald Stent, Harold Sterling, Betty Pizer Stern, Samuel A. Sternberg, Sylvia G. Stolerau, Norman A. Sugarman, Hyman H. Tash, Claire Trimboli, Ann Wolpe Weisberg, Sadie S. Weiner, Dorothy Winston, Moses Wurzberger, and those recently laid to rest: Shelley Contract, Barbara Yeager, Sally Molster Holt Burge, Gilbert Plotnick, Aline Perlman, Charles Berman, Martha Ann Halley, Haya Weinbaum, Rita Trachtenberg, Carlin Ring, Ann Smith, Myrtle Katzen, Jean Retport, and Arthur Dubin. To those names, we also add Kafira Bibas, Ariel Bibas, Oded Lifshitz. We will not add their mother's name, Kafira and Ariel's mother's name, until Israeli authorities have said that it is her. If there is a name that you would like to add to our memorial this evening, I'll ask that you share their name out loud with our community at this time. Also, if I inadvertently mispronounce the name of your loved one, please share that name out loud with our community at this time.
Mary Friedman.
Thank you.
James Joseph Morton.
Bernard Bill. Kirk Ross. Jeff Cashman. Paul Handy and Helen Chapman.
We turn to page 294 and rise as one community for Mourners Cottage. Yit Gadal, Vid Kadash, Shimei Rabba, Be'alma, Divrach, Yirte, Be'amlich Malchute, B'chayachon, Uvyomechon, Uvchaye, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Uvizman Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Ulalmei Amaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudusha Brechu Le'ela Minko Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Ta'amiran Be'alma V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'el Kol Yisrael V'imru, amen. Say shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And we say together, amen. You may be seated. Unless you are Ellen Miller, who is our representative from our board of directors, to come up and share a few announcements for our community.
Get down to Rabbi Shankman's level here. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining us for this important Shabbat. I'm Ellen Miller, a member of the Temple Board, and a past president of Women of Washington Hebrew Congregation. It is a very special honor to be here tonight for Repro Shabbat. In addition to my commitment to Washington Hebrew Congregation, I'm a board member of the Women of Reform Judaism North America and an active member of their Reform Judas for Reproductive Justice team. I was a participant along with Rabbi Schmelkin and Fischel and WHC and WRJ supporters of the Reform Jews for Abortion Access rally in front of the Supreme Court last year. And amazingly so, yesterday in the weekly email from the RAC, we were featured in a photo at that rally. Here at Washington Hebrew, we have some wonderful opportunities to engage with Temple and the community in these next few weeks. Our next Amram Scholar Series is this Sunday, February 23rd at 10:30 here at Temple, featuring Rabbi Shankman and guest Rabbi John Rosov, who has been here with us before, discussing how the American Jewish community has faced new challenges since October 7th. Of course, stop by early for a bagel brunch starting at 9:45 in the morning. Join us on Monday, February 24th at 6:30 at Temple for a screening of The Merchant of Venice. Following the screening, we will have a panel discussion on the representation of anti-Semitism in the play. Mondays at Macomb return on March 10th at Temple. Each week, we will begin with a dinner at 7 o'clock before learning starts at 7:30. We are offering 3 different classes this semester. 12 Jewish Questions, led by Rabbi Aaron Miller. Unlocking Prayer, led by Cantor Susan Bortnick and Suzanne Hamstra. And Fulfillment, led by Rabbi Jonathan Miller. Please take a copy of this week with you and use the QR code, I think it's on the inside, or visit our website for more information or to register.
Beautiful.
Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush. This is a moment when we remember the miracle of the Exodus and celebrate our freedom. At Washington Hebrew Congregation, we use this moment in our service to remember Cami Lauren Nathanson and the power each one of us have to make an impact in our community and to change the world for the better. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. If we have any children around who would like to come on up and join us for Kiddush, we would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay. Take one.
And because I know that the children are very thirsty, we're going to do the short one tonight. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Call it now. Okay.
You guys want to hold it? Oh, stay up. Who wants to hold it? Go for it. Ready? 2 hands. Yeah, you can drink it.
Yeah.
Let's join together in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
And, oh, not yet. What are you doing? You're doing a blessing.
Stop trying to run away, everyone.
Come on. Yeah, you're not new.
This is everyone's favorite part of the service. Okay?
We take an opportunity. Uh-oh.
You lost your kippah.
Actually, I can have some helper over here. That would be awesome. No, blessing you. We take an opportunity every Shabbat to bless the next generation, these most important people in our world. And so we say, Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God turn towards you and grant you peace and keep you as unique and wonderful as each of you are. And we say together, Amen. Amen. Beautiful.
And we are going to close with O Say Shalom. And I don't think I have the right page number on here for that, but it's on page, thank you, it's on page 167. We're going to be singing Debbie Friedman's version of this, which I think many of you will know. And I remember her playing this at my temple when I was a child and teaching us exactly how you're supposed to sing it, the exact notes, and don't mess it up. Oh, say shalom, bimroma, booyah, say shalom, aleinu, be'amo,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Oh,
Thank you, beautiful.